Hey guys, Josh Brown here from Investor Riches, and I wanted to make a quick video for you today. I actually have been about for the last hour on the phone with a good friend and buddy of mine, Brian Haskins. You can see him right there. And Brian and I have been friends for, what, 3 years now, maybe more?
Yeah, probably going on 3 years.
So we get on the phone regularly. We talk about what he's doing in his business. You know, I help him with stuff in my business, and we kind of share great information. But by the way, that's what you should be doing, is finding people you can network and mastermind with, because there's no faster way to take your business to the next level than learning from other people's proven results. So we were doing that today. We're on the phone, and I got to tell you, the stuff that Brian was sharing with me was so good. I thought, Brian, would you mind sharing a little bit of this with my students and my clients? And Brian said yes. So that's why we're here right now. After about an hour of figuring out how to use this technology, we got it together. And we're going to talk today about virtual assistants and automating your business, because I can tell you, I've worked in this industry more than 10 years, and I've done it the hard way. I've done everything myself. I know what that feels like. For a lot of us, if we wanted to work 80-hour-a-week jobs, we could go do it working for somebody else. If you truly want to enjoy this business, and if you're like me and you're always trying to find ways to get things done faster, easier, cheaper, and more efficiently, then you're going to want to pay attention, because basically I'm going to have Brian share with you some stuff he just shared with me that can help your business today. Okay, so guys, the stuff that Brian's going to share over the next few minutes, it really works. What are you doing now? How many deals a month?
Usually on average about 5 or 6 deals a month.
5 deals a month, and tell people, this makes me mad, but tell people how many hours you spend to get those 5 deals done.
I typically spend less than 15 hours a week on my real estate investing business.
So in less than 15 hours a week, you're bringing in 5 deals a month. That's awesome.
Yep.
I mean, that's fantastic. So why don't we start off, I'm very impressed with your model, your system. I'm always picking your brain on virtual assistants and automating things. So why don't you do everyone here a favor and tell us a little bit about your system, your setup, and your business.
Okay, cool. Basically, I run a wholesaling business. I've been a full-time wholesaler for about 6 years now. I'm in the St. Louis market, St. Louis, Missouri. And about 3 years ago, I ran across a great book called 4 Hour Workweek, and it really intrigued me. Tim Ferriss, the author, talked about hiring virtual assistants and using them to do a lot of the grunt work in your business. And
right.
I kind of had an epiphany. I thought, I could totally do this for my real estate investing business. I mean, at that point in time, I was making great money. I was making, just money, but I didn't really have time to use that money and, to really go do a lot of fun things. I spent a lot of my time. There you go. There's the book right there.
I saw it on my shelf, and I was like, I might as well grab it. Have a little prop.
Yep.
Awesome book.
The problem with what I was doing is that I just didn't have time to, enjoy the money I was making. I spent so much time, following up with motivated sellers, going and showing properties. There were so many things that I was doing on a day-to-day basis, and I was working, 60 or 70 hours a week, and it just really didn't fit with the lifestyle that I wanted to create for myself. So what I did was I actually started to systematize my business, and I hired my first virtual assistant. And then fast forward about 6 months later, I had started to outsource about 30 to 40% of my business, a lot of the day-to-day jobs that were mostly just grunt work that anybody could do. A lot of the things in your business don't necessarily have to be done by you. That was the beauty of real estate investing and how easily it was to kind of outsource those things. And now, fast forward a few years later, I'm working, usually, 2 to 3 hours a day on my real estate investing business, and it pretty much runs on autopilot. So, I mean, if I want to take as much time off as I want, I mean, my business is still going to run, and I'm still going to make just as much money as if I was to, to work on my business on a day-to-day basis. So it's really important that, people understand that they can do that when it comes to real estate investing, and that's what I've done. So
right.
That's what we talked about today, just kind of, setting up systems for your business and kind of, taking yourself out of the equation and how you can still really make just as much money or more.
And I think a lot of people, Brian, they're not sure, even how to. It's like one of those things where it sounds great, but you're not just sure how to get involved. You know what I mean? Like, how do I even get started? What's the first thing I do? What if I had a VA? What would they do? How many VAs do you have right now?
Well, my business, has transformed a lot over the last few years. Right now, I have my business set up where I have about 4 full-time virtual assistants.
Okay.
When I first got started, and what I recommend for most people is to hire like a general type assistant that can handle maybe 3 or 4, even 5 different small jobs in their business. And then as you start to grow and as you start to kind of scale your business and find other things that you want to outsource, you can start to hire more specialized virtual assistants that can handle specific jobs, and you can actually start to kind of ramp those parts of your business up so they work, maybe 30 or 40 hours a week for you.
Right.
But I definitely recommend that if anybody wants to get started, the first step is definitely just to look at one virtual assistant and maybe kind of break down some of the parts of your business that maybe you don't like to do, or maybe the parts that just take up a lot of your time but don't necessarily make you any money. Those are the first things that I would look to kind of outsource. And then it's really simple just to kind of manage one virtual assistant and kind of have them take on those jobs for you. And then you can kind of grow with your business and outsource more things.
That makes sense. I got to tell you, one of the things I know when we met a couple years ago, you told me, do this one task and you can shave 2 hours off of your day. That's 2 hours you can do anything with. And that was to hire someone to go through my email box and to sort of act as my virtual assistant, just like you said, an everyday average virtual assistant that handles multiple tasks. I still have them to this day. And it instantly took 2 hours out of my day. I mean, I can't tell you how many emails I get. I'm sure everyone watching this video gets so many emails and bombarded by so much stuff. What I did was I hired a person. I pay them, I think, $2 an hour. They spend like 1 hour a day, maybe less, going through my email box and taking out all the junk and making sure that when I log in, the stuff I see is the important stuff. It took me maybe 3 hours to train them over a week, a little here, a little there, don't delete this, don't delete that, put this here, here's my folder system. But I got to tell you, it has been an amazing time saver, and that's just one of the little things that Brian taught me, guys, and it's one of the nuggets you need to take with you here is and you said it perfectly, Brian, what is the stuff you don't like to do in your business or in life, and stop doing it. Life is way too short to do stuff you don't like to do. So find those things, maybe start writing them down for a week or so, and then when you realize you have a list of stuff you don't like to do, there are places you can go to find people who will do them for you for really, really cheap. But Brian, one of the things you've always been harping to me is, I'll tell you guys, just so you know, on the backside, I'll tell Brian about a promotion we're running or something we're doing within our real estate business. The first thing you ask me is, why don't you get a VA to do that? Why don't you get an assistant to do that for you? So, Brian, tell me and everybody watching, why do you think virtual assistants are so important? Why are you always harping to me that I've got to have them?
Well, that's a really great question. And to kind of relate this to just real estate investing, and especially new real estate investors, because a lot of people that are going to be listening to this call are probably going to be newer to real estate, maybe haven't gotten too many deals under their belt, and they might be kind of thinking, why in the world would I hire a virtual assistant? Maybe number one, they haven't made any money yet. It's hard to kind of justify to hire somebody else. And typically what I like to tell everybody that's new to virtual assistants is that basically start small. The great thing about virtual assistants is that you can hire them for just maybe an hour here or an hour there, and just like you said, you can find great quality people for $2 or $3 an hour to do these jobs for you. And that's really the most important thing for the new investor, is to look at some of the things that need to get done in their business that maybe they don't have time to do. Like, let's say, if you're new to real estate investing, you're setting so many things up, you're wearing all the different hats in your real estate investing business. One of the biggest things that most new investors forget about is to do their marketing. And you want to make sure that you have your marketing coming in consistently, no matter what aspect of real estate you're in, whether it's wholesaling or lease options or whatever you're doing.
Marketing, no business, right?
Exactly. So what I tell everybody is get started, maybe 1 or 2 hours a week. Just have a virtual assistant maybe send out your direct mail for you. Get on Craigslist and look for motivated sellers. Whatever kind of marketing you're doing, set aside maybe $5 or $10 a week to hire someone to do that for you. It's not going to cost a lot of money out of your pocket, but you know that it's going to get done. That way, if you get a couple of deals coming in and you start to work on those deals, you might forget about your marketing. Then you're going to have to build that pipeline all over again. But if you had a virtual assistant that was working, maybe $5 a week that you set aside for that,
Right.
your marketing is always going to be coming in, and that's what's going to give you consistent income and actually make you a lot more money in the long run because you know that marketing is going to be getting done. So that's really the biggest thing that I would say, to new investors that you should be. That's the main reason why you should look at virtual assistants.
And, I guess, what's your recommendation for people? Do they start right away? Did they wait till we get to a certain point to start using VAs? When should the average investor or the new investor or whatever start using VAs in their business?
That's a great question because so many people in their head, just they think maybe they're not ready, to hire somebody. And what I like to tell people is don't think of a virtual assistant as like an employee because they're definitely not an employee. You don't have the responsibilities to where you have to try to keep that employee busy. They're not relying on you to eat. I mean, they want your business and they want full-time work, but they'll be happy to work an hour here and an hour there.
Right.
So I like to tell people go ahead and get started right away because you're gonna make so much more money quicker if you can outsource some of the most important things in your business to make sure that they're getting done on a regular basis, just like your marketing and your follow-up phone calls and all these different things that you're doing. If you can start right out of the gate hiring somebody for just a very small amount of money, you're going to make a lot more money quicker if you do it that way because you can start to focus on growing your business and getting things done while those tasks are already getting started. So I would recommend that you pretty much get started with virtual assistants right from the start and then kind of scale your business and kind of grow with your business and hire more virtual assistants and kind of go from there. But I think it's really important for everybody that's listening to think about virtual assistants because they'd be a great asset to your business.
Right. One of the things I can remember hearing years ago from a mentor of mine was, if you want to be a millionaire, you have to act, walk, and talk like a millionaire. So you need to read. You need to always be learning and growing and questioning things, But one of the things that he pointed out to me was, if you want to be a millionaire, you have to start doing the things a millionaire would do. A millionaire doesn't worry about the junk email coming to his inbox. A millionaire doesn't worry about, did the postcard get sent out today? He puts the team and people in place, just like Henry Ford did. He got a great team around him, got him in place, and let it all work for him. And he kind of sat back and was the visionary, the dreamer, and sort of creating that business, either working on your business or in your business. And VAs just, to me, seems like one of those things that allows you to really grow your business fast. Even if you're starting from ground zero, a virtual assistants can help you dramatically shorten that learning curve. And I hope everyone's understanding that. If you're brand new, Brian, what are some of the specific tasks? Do you mind sharing? I know this is stuff you usually charge for, but do you mind sharing some of the specific tasks that if I was brand new and going to hire a VA, I might be able to find VAs to do for me?
Yeah, no problem. That's a really good question, and I don't mind sharing it all. Probably the top 5 jobs that I would say that I would start with when it comes to outsourcing. If you don't necessarily want to start with the jobs that you don't like to do, I would say number 1, your marketing is probably, or at least a portion of your marketing is probably the most important thing to start with. The second, job that I would recommend is follow-up, like, whether it be phone calls or emails. That's a really important part of your real estate investing business, and I would say about 80% of my deals come from follow-up. I mean, most of the times when I'm on the phone with the homeowner, I'm typically not going to get the deal right away. It's going to take a couple follow-up emails or maybe a postcard or something like that. So that's one of the things that I outsourced next in my business. That way I made sure that I was still, constantly communicating with them, and you wouldn't believe how many more deals I've gotten as a result of that.
Right.
The third thing I would say that you want to outsource is probably, like, if you're doing anything with REOs where you're making lots of offers or anything like that, you can hire a virtual assistant to basically just write offers for you and submit them on your behalf to your real estate agent. Another really great thing that you can actually outsource, which is relatively simple, is actually like running comps and like figuring out what properties are worth. Because
great.
Really, I mean, it sounds like a difficult thing to do, but I mean, all of us have learned how to do it. It's a very teachable thing, and it's something that's very time consuming. It takes you maybe 15 or 20 minutes every time you're on the phone with the seller to quickly run comps. one of the things that I've done is I've actually hired a virtual assistant to do this for me, and I'll have them do like a radius search around the property, and I'll also do like an address search, and I'll have them print off like a PDF and scan and email it to me, and I can basically just look over the sheet, see what comps I think are good comps, and kind of make a decision from there. But it took away that 10 or 15 minutes a day per call that I got, of actually running comps.
Right.
And then probably the fifth thing that I would start to kind of outsource in my business would be actually handling my incoming phone calls. This is something that's going to take a little bit more time to kind of set up, but for the last 3 years now, ever since I got started outsourcing, I was actually able to outsource my incoming phone calls. And this has been the biggest help. It's freed up the most amount of time, because once you start to run a full-time business and you're getting, a few hundred, leads a month, you're going to be on the phone a lot, and it's going to be something that's going to be really hard for you to do on your day-to-day, list of things to do, because every time you're getting into a project, you've got to stop, you've got to answer the phone, you've got to go through the entire process of talking with the motivated seller. It's hard to actually get things done.
Yep.
So those are probably the top 5 things that I would say that you could really start to outsource and start to see results almost immediately. And if you think about it, those are probably some of the most time-consuming aspects of your business that you do right now.
And I'll tell you, Brian, the first time you told me that you outsourced your phone calls to VAs, the first thing that went through my head was, well, that's probably a humongous mess because, I'm imagining someone in some third world country answering like a rotary phone with bad accent and no one can understand them.
Right.
But little did I know that there's VAs out there, tons of them, who speak better English than I do.
Yeah.
And are college educated from other countries who speak really, really good English. In fact, you were telling me there's one country where English is like the business language, so they speak it perfectly.
Yeah, that's the Philippines.
Yeah.
And that's typically where I'll hire, I would say 99% of all my virtual assistants if I decide to hire outside of the United States.
Right.
I do hire a lot in the United States. And
that's that's a good thing to say too, because I think a lot of people feel like I don't want to, I want to hire inside the United States. They don't even think that's an option. So that's a good point to prove that it is possible and totally doable. People do it all the time.
Yeah, and I'll touch on that for a minute as well. But basically, the Philippines, really, for the most part, they speak English, as one of their first languages.
Right.
They're taught it in school. They use it to communicate with each other. And in the Philippines, they have really grown. And a lot of people here from the United States are going to the Philippines and actually setting up United States-based call centers and all these different things over in the Philippines because, it's not like people from India, and there's nothing wrong with people from India or other countries where the accent might be a little bit stronger. People kind of, almost turn off whenever they hear someone with a strong accent on the phone. Or from the Philippines, a lot of people, don't recognize the accent or don't notice it as much. So it really hasn't been a hard transition for my business. But there's actually, just like you mentioned, people right here in the United States. When we talk about outsourcing, we're not just talking about, hiring people from different countries. I mean, if you want to outsource to people right here in the United States, that's something that I strongly believe in and something that I do in my own business. And believe it or not, you can find virtual assistants right here in the United States that will work for, $5, $6 an hour. I mean, I've even found people that work for $3 and $4 an hour.
Wow, that's great.
So don't rule that out as an option. You can definitely hire people right here in the United States, and don't think all virtual assistants are from different countries. You can find great people at affordable rates right here in the U.S. if that's a problem with with you shipping any work over to a different part of the world.
That's awesome. So I think it always comes down to money, right? Like the reason I wanted to have you on this little recording, make this recording and give it to my students is to hopefully inspire them to figure out how they can start using virtual assistants, make their life easier, funner. For me, life's always about lifestyle. What can I do to spend more time with my friends and my family on the beach, doing the things I love to do, brewing beer. I have a little mini brewery we've got going on here. But those are the things I love to do, and virtual assistants allow me to do it. I think for someone who might be struggling or just getting started or has never used VAs before, it's going to come down to money. And I guess it would seem to me like it might be a somewhat controversial topic lately. with the economy and everything else. What can you talk about that a bit? Maybe dispel some of the rumors that you need to have money to do VAs, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, and that's a really great question, because I know that's really what it all boils down to. People, need to, stay pretty tight with their money. I mean, it's just one of those things. People now that are just getting started maybe have, recently lost a job and only have a small amount of money to work with. I would say that, using a virtual assistant, I would put that at, towards the top of my list of money that I allocate for my business. And the reason is because if you can actually outsource maybe 5 or 10 hours a week of your business, what you're able to do is you're able to free up that time and actually start to use that to focus on growing your business. Or if you've already become established and are closing deals and making money, you can take that time and go spend it with your friends or your family and actually enjoy the lifestyle that you created. Or you can take that and actually focus it on growing your business and actually working on your business. So that's really, really important, to set aside a little bit. And I don't think, I don't recommend anybody to go out and try to, systematize and outsource their entire business right away. It's a process that you're going to learn over the course of a few months. But I think it's great for everybody just to kind of start small, start with one virtual assistant for a few dollars an hour, and just kind of, give it a shot.
Scale your way up.
Exactly. I think it's really important.
Well, very cool. Brian, I really appreciate you being on this quick recording for me today. And for everybody watching this, I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope we've inspired you a little bit to try VAs. I mean, I can tell you it's one of the easiest, fastest things you can do to change your business, literally overnight. I mean, to get rid of some of these tasks, to automate things, to increase your profits without actually having to be the person. I say you can make money in a lot of different ways. I always say this at my events. You can dig ditches if you want to, dig holes in the ground. But VAs are literally a way to make money from digging holes without having to be the person digging the hole. So think about that in your business. And Brian, I want to thank you for being on here. And, I hope you guys had a lot from this. And actually, Brian has created a very special video. What does your video do? What's it going to tell people how to do?
Well, basically what the video that I've created, it just kind of goes more in depth and talks a little bit kind of about how my business is structured, how I've started to utilize virtual assistants, kind of what I have them actually do in my business, and basically kind of gives people an outline that they can follow and start to kind of model so they can actually set their business up the same way that I've got mine set up.
That's very cool. So basically they can model you and get your exact same results. That's pretty neat. And I appreciate you creating that video, and I'm sure everybody watching does too. So if you guys want that, we'll make it available, what do you think, I guess below this video?
Yeah, we'll probably put a link below the video.
Like a link below this video here. So Brian will get that over to me. I'll get it up for you, and you can tear it apart and enjoy it. I recommend you watch that video, get there, do what he says, because, guys, greatness takes action, and if you want to be great, you want to build a great business, you want to build a business you can be proud of, or maybe you're sick and tired of doing a lot of stuff in your business, you feel like you're working harder for less money, virtual assistants are the way you can change that. So get involved, check it out, tell us what you think about it most of all, because Brian has some awesome content. He's not a guru that's going to just try to, take all your money. He's got great, real content that, guys, you need to check out and you need to implement now. So go check it out. Tell us what you think, and thanks for watching this video. And Brian, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome, guys. Take care.
All right, I'm going to